Well, there are many unknowns in the coming days after this back and forth with Hamas on the hostage for ceasefire deal. Here to break down some of the latest news and explore what we can expect to see, at least in the next 48 hours, is Yissachar from the Israel Defense and Security Forum. Or, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on. Let's start with the head of the octopus, as they say. We saw this new assessment about the possibility of Israel striking Iran sometime this year. How likely do you think this is, and will it prevent the advancement of peace with countries like Saudi Arabia, which is on the Trump agenda?
Good to be with you, Emily. Look, I think President Trump was very clear. He signed a presidential memorandum on February 4th, instructing the Secretary of State to invoke a maximum pressure campaign on Iran. So we recognize that Iran is the head of the snake, as you pointed out, and Israel is committed to deny Iran from ever becoming a nuclear state. That can pose the gravest of existential dangers on Israel. And so right now, Israel, as you know, is busy fighting a multi-front war, all instigated by Iran. Let's not lose sight of what's going on here. And so Iran itself has suffered blows from Israel in October as a response to the missile attack. And I believe that President Trump, while saying that he is not necessarily interested in a military strike, will find out eventually that Iranians will try to fudge things up and to sort of buy time like they always do. And we are just minutes away from a nuclear weapon. We saw the U.S. Director of Intelligence report about how much Iran has resumed enrichment in high levels, and it's inches away from clutching even 5 nuclear bombs if it so chooses. And so I think we're running out of time and the clock is ticking. And right now, the decision is the president's to make. But Israel, I think, will always reserve the right to strike Iran if so it chooses, in order to deny it from ever becoming a nuclear weapon.
Now, one of the challenges with a nuclear deal, even a good nuclear deal, is that it doesn't demand a regime change in Iran, meaning this regime can continue its nefarious activities and funding terrorism, especially if down the road we see some form of sanction relief under this president or a future one. How can Israel act against this preemptively, or can they?
Yeah, so we know that the oil exports are of, top priority to Iran, and Trump's executive order actually mentioned how they want to reduce oil exports in Iran to zero. Just to remind everyone that Iran is a petro state. It is completely dependent on oil exports, and since the U.S. sanctions and the sanctions by other countries, oil exports have actually plummeted until such time that China has decided to buy over 90% of Iran's oil. Russia also started to do so as well. And so all these things supporting Iran militarily and so on. And so all these things really come down to Iran needing a deal. Let's not lose sight of what's going on here. Iran badly needs a deal. Rial has plummeted to 900,000 rials per dollar. And right now, their main goal is to make Trump sign any deal that will make him satisfied. But I gotta give a heads up to everyone. Iran will never sign a deal to deny it's forever becoming a nuclear state. And so we have to be very cautious here. And you mentioned Saudi Arabia. You know, the Saudis, their number one priority is to prevent Iran from ever becoming, from ever acquiring nuclear weapons. And so all of the region can reunite under this idea. That's exactly what's the foundation for the Abraham Accords with the Gulf states and Morocco, and we're looking forward to Saudi Arabia. We don't need to pile up preconditions with the Palestinian state and so on. You can simply have a bilateral agreement between two countries, and I don't see Israel piling up any preconditions on Saudi with other conflicts with the Yemenites and so on. If Riyadh and Jerusalem want to make a deal, let's make a deal. They don't need to wait neither for the Palestinians nor to anyone else.
And we are almost out of time, but I want to give you a final word. Looking at Gaza, of course, we've seen Hamas already balk at this ceasefire deal. Now they're saying they will honor the agreement. What's really going on here? Can we expect to see this hostage release on Saturday?
I should hope so, and I would strongly advise Hamas not to break that ceasefire agreement, and not to break away from it, and to release, if not 3, then 5 or even 10 hostages on Saturday. I warmly recommend that, given the military's plans, the IDF's plan to resume the fighting. And this time around, that won't be, cat and mouse play like what we saw in the past few months, with a full waiver, green light from President Trump to basically, set all hell on Gaza. Let all hell break loose on Gaza. And this time around, that won't be joking around. So I warmly recommend that Hamas does it. And if not, Israel will know what to do.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we are out of time. Or Yissachar from the IDSF. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.